Okay class, so today is week number 6 and it's lecture number 7, and in last class we were discussing about the area and perimeter of shaded region, right? So continue with the same topic. Now today we are going to start how we find the area and perimeter of sector. So before starting the question, let me tell you the working formula. I have told you earlier as well. So area of a sector is angle divided by 360 multiplied by pi r square. The perimeter of sector is angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, and for perimeter we know that it's sum of all sides, right? So starting with question number 7, part A, we need to find the length of each of the following arcs AXB. Now if I highlight AXB, so that is basically the arc length, right? So you need to find the arc length. So for part A, first you need to write the working formula. Now if you haven't learned the working formulas, so try to write the working formula in every question. You will learn it automatically. So arc length is angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, right? The value of angle given in the question is 82 degrees. So it's 82 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi radius. The value of r is 8, and that is the working formula. We have substituted all the values in that working formula. Now you need to simplify it. So after solving, you will get the value 11.45, and the unit is centimeter. That is the arc length of first part, right? Now moving on to the next part. Now it will be good if you pause the video and try all the questions by yourself and then see its solution. For part B, arc length, first thing, working formula, angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. It will be good if you write the working formula in all questions. So theta is 134, that is angle, divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r is 14. Now you need to multiply. So 134 multiplied by 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by 14, it's 11788, divided by 360, it's 32.75, right? After rounding off, it's 32.75. that is the answer of part B. Keep in mind that arc length is this curve length, that is the arc length, right? For part C, arc length is equals to, now you need angle, that is 214 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, and r is 17. So 214 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3.142 multiplied by 17 divided by 360. So its answer is 63.5, and unit is centimeter, right? Moving on to the last part, the same thing, find the arc length. Now in last part, the arc length is basically of the major sector, right? If I highlight the arc length, so this length is the arc length of this sector, right? So first thing, what you need to find is the angle. So what is the value of this angle? So you can find it by subtracting the given angle from 360. So 360 minus 46, it's 314 degrees, right? Now the same working formula, arc length is equals to angle, that is 314 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. So find it, 314 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3.142 multiplied by 9.8 divided by 360, it's 53.7. So the arc length is 53.7 centimeter. So that was question number 7 with all the 4 parts, right? So make sure that you need to identify whether you need to find the length of minor or major. How did we know that we need to find the arc length of major? It's not that much difficult because it mentioned in the question. It says A, X and then B. So this arc length, right? After question number 7, moving on to the next question, that is question number 8. Now in this question you need to find the arc length and then the perimeter, right? So it's question number 1, so you need to listen carefully. First thing, arc length. Now in question number 7 we have learned that how we need to find the arc length, and it says arc length of AXB. So I think now you can do it by yourself, so give it a try and then check your answer. So it will be angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, right? So when you multiply it, it will be 76 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3.142 multiplied by 9 and divided by 360. So its answer is 11.9. So I am going to round it off to 12 centimeter. So you got the value of arc length. Now it says the perimeter, but the perimeter of major sector, right? So for major sector, if I need to highlight the perimeter of the major sector, it will be this arc length, right? This arc length plus this radius plus this radius, that is the major sector, and all the boundaries are the length of major sector. Now first thing, for part 2, you need to find the arc length of major sector. So to find the arc length, first you need to know the angle. So if I need to highlight in your figure, so that is the angle of major sector, and it will be 360 minus 76. Now when you subtract 360 from 76 from 360, so it's 284. That means the angle of major sector is 284. So the arc length is angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. The value of r is known, that is 9. Now multiply it, 284 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3.142 multiplied by 9 and divided by 360, it's 44.6 centimeter, right? After arc length, for perimeter you need to add all these values. So arc length is 44.6 plus this radius, this one, this radius is 9 plus the other radius is also 9. So it will be 44.6 plus 18. So perimeter is 62.6 centimeter. That is the answer, right? So we are going to continue with the next part. So its part B is this one. Same two questions, first the arc length and then the perimeter. So first part, you need to find the arc length of minor sector. Now the minor arc length is angle, that is 112 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, and r is 16. If you solve it, 112 times 2 times 3.142 times 16 divided by 360, so that is 31.3. So the arc length is 31.3 centimeter, right? For part 2, that is the same continuation of question. So for part 2, you need to find perimeter of major sector, right? So first I am going to highlight the lengths that we need to find. This one, and this arc length, right? So we cannot find it until we have the value of theta. So theta of major sector is 360 minus 112. So if you solve it, it's 248 degree. Now you have the angle of major sector. Arc length, it will be angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, right? So if you solve it, 248 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 multiplied by pi and multiplied by r, that is 16. So it's 69.26 centimeter, that is the arc length. Now the final step to find the perimeter, add all the red boundaries. So it's 69.26 plus 16 plus 16. So when you add it, its value is 101.26 centimeter. That is the perimeter of the major sector. After part B, moving towards the next part, that is C. So now you have done two questions with me. I expect that you can do this question by yourself. So first thing, you need to find arc length of minor sector. So you know the working formula, it's angle. Now what is the angle of minor? 215? No. 215 is basically the angle of major sector because when theta angle is greater than 180, so it is a major sector, as we had discussed in the first class of sectors, right? So to find the arc length of minor sector, first you need to find the angle of minor sector. So it will be 360 minus 215. So when you subtract it, it's 145 degrees, right? Now you can find the arc length of minor sector. Its angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi, and the value of r is 17.6 centimeter. Now you need to calculate 145 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3.142 multiplied by 17.6 and divided by 360. So it's 44.54, right? So that is the arc length of minor sector. For next part, part number 2, you need to find the perimeter of major sector. For perimeter, first I need to highlight the boundaries. So this length, this arc length, and this radius, right? So first you need to find the arc length of major sector. Arc length is angle that is 215 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, right? Now the value of r is 17.6. Calculate it. So 215 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3.142 times 17.6 divided by 360, it's 66.05 centimeter. For perimeter, you need to add all the sides, so it's 66.05 plus 17.6 plus 17.6. So when you add it, the final answer is 101.25. That is the perimeter of this whole shape. Now after question number 8, moving on to the next question, that is question number 9. Now the similar type of questions, but the way of using formula is slight change now. Find the radius. Now radius is unknown in all the parts of question number 9, and the arc length is given, right? So one thing you need to understand and you need to implement it. Whatever the condition is given, you need to use that condition. Like in this question, the arc length is given, right? So you need to apply the working formula of arc length, that is angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. Now angle is 95 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi, and since radius is unknown but the arc length is 26.53, at this point make r the subject of this equation. So 26.53 on its side, 360 is dividing on the right side, so when you shift it will be multiplied with 26.53 and
This whole fraction 95 and 2 pi is basically multiplying with r. So when you shift on the left side, it will be divided with 26.53. So it will be 95 multiplied by 2 pi is equals to radius. Once you make r the subject of the equation, now it will be very easy to solve it. 26.53 multiplied by 360 divided by 95 divided by 2 and divided by pi. So the final answer of r is 16 centimeter, right? So in last class we need to find the arc length, and in this question we need to find the radius. Basically the examiner is trying to teach us how to manipulate this working formula, right? Moving on to the next part, that is part B. Now you need to try it first. Apply the working formula. Same question, you need to find the radius. Now it says the length of major arc and theta is also major arc. So you need to compare these two things in any question, every question, sorry. Now arc length is angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, and the value of arc length is 104.6 is equals to 214 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. Again we need to make r the subject of the equation. It will be 104.6. This 360 multiplies with it divided by 214 and 2 pi like we did in last question, right? Now you need to calculate it. So 104.6 multiplied by 360 divided by 214 divided by 2 and divided by pi. So the final answer of r is 28 centimeter, right? That is the answer. So if you are facing difficulty in solving this, so you need to solve numerator separately, denominator separately, and then you can divide it, right? So if you find it difficult, then you can opt this method as well. Now after question number 9, moving on to the next question that is a little bit modified than this one, right? So question number 10 has 4 parts. Now you need to understand the question clearly, then you can answer it easily. Now in question number 10, the radius of a circle is 14 meter. It has 4 parts. So when I finish the first part, you need to start all these 3 parts and then check your answers. So radius is known, that is 14 meter. Find the angle at the center. In all those parts, theta is x, right? Find the angle at the center of the circle subtended by an arc length. Now these 4 parts, basically these are the values of arc length. For first part we have arc length is equals to 12 meter. Now if you notice in the last 3 questions, what is happening here? We learned that how we find the arc length. After that we learned how we find the radius by the same formula, and now we are going to learn how to find the angle. So same working formula, with different unknowns, right? So strategy is same. Now first you need to apply the working formula. So arc length is equals to angle. Now angle is x divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi, r is 40. Now for first part the value of arc length is 12. So 12 is equals to x divided by 360. 14 times 2 is 28 pi. Right? Now you need to make x the subject of the equation. So 12 multiplied by 360 and this number will be divided on the left side, that is 28 pi is equals to x. Right? Now you can easily find out by your calculator. So 12 by 360 divided by 28 divided by pi. So it's 49. That means for first part the value of angle is 49 degree. That means this is basically a minor sector, right? Because angle is less than 180 degree. With the same strategy we are going to solve part B. Arc length is 19.5. Now pause the video and solve it by yourself. So first apply the working formula. Arc length is equals to angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi. Radius is fixed, that is 14. Now it will be arc length is 19.5 multiplied by 360 and this expression is fixed, that is 28 pi. Now you need to divide it by 28 pi like we did in the last question to find the value of x. Now 19.5 multiplied by 360 divided by 28 and divided by 3.142. It's 79.8 degrees the angle. That means again it is a minor arc. For C part the arc length is 64.2. Right? First thing, working formula. Arc length is equals to x divided by 360 and this whole thing is fixed, that is 28 pi, as I have told you in last part. Arc length is 64.2 multiplied by 360 divided by 28 pi is equals to x. Solve it. 64.2 multiplied by 360 divided by 28 and divided by pi. So it's 262.7. Now can you tell me that this angle is of major arc or minor arc? So obviously theta is greater than 180, that means it is a major arc, right? And for the last part D, that is arc length is 84.6 meters. Now the working formula, arc length is equals to angle is x divided by 360 multiplied by it is 28 pi, right? So arc length is 84.6 multiplied by 360 divided by 28 pi is equals to angle x, right? Further solve it, it will be 84.6 multiplied by 360 divided by 28 divided by pi. So the angle is 346 degree. Again theta is greater than 180, that means it is a major sector, right? So in today's class what we had discussed, we have learned how we use the working formula of arc length, that is equals to angle divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. So we had discussed three things with the same working formula: how to find, at first we study how to find arc length. After that we did some questions how to find radius, and at last how to find angle with the same working formula, right? So I think that is enough for today's class. What you guys need to do is you guys need to practice such questions, and second important thing that you need to learn all the working formulas, right? It's very simple. If you know the formula, then solving it, it's very simple. We have done many questions like this in algebra, basic algebra, that if it is dividing on the right side you need to multiply it, if it is multiplying on the right side you need to divide it. Simple techniques of algebra that we need to apply once we know the working formula and we know what is arc length, what is angle, and what is radius, right? So inshallah in next class we are going to continue with the same exercise, right? So till then you need to practice, you need to learn, and you need to take care of yourself. So see you next.
How much time do you spend every day debating with yourself whether you should go and study or procrastinate a little longer? Well, let me give you some advice. Sometimes you have to ignore what you're feeling and just go through the motions. You might feel like watching TV. You might feel like doing something. You might not feel like doing something. And instead of not doing it, just go ahead and go through the motions. Get it done. Get out there and do what you're supposed to do. It's the problem most students have. They negotiate with procrastination. And at first, it's difficult to overcome. But the more you do it, the more you make yourself study even when you don't feel like it, the easier it will become. Get up and go and study. We all know the students that complain about their grades. They make excuses why they couldn't achieve higher. But because they're making excuses, they blame everyone else but themselves, so they don't do anything about it. They don't fix anything. They don't improve anything, so they continue getting the same grades. If all you do is complain, nothing's going to happen in your life. Be obsessed over your future. Be consumed by the possibilities. The super successful don't stop when they hit their targets. They simply reset and go again. That dream is not going to just sit there and wait for you to come and get it. You've got to chase it. You've got to chase it like a man possessed. You've got to go and get it. So, what are you doing about it? You've got to take action with your studying. Find a solution to your problem. Don't be the problem. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you increase your studying by 50%, your grades are also likely to increase. And if they don't, then find out why.